Happy Thursday. On this week's episode of the Otaku Experience, we have a trailer for the remake of Spice and Wolf, Black Butler is coming back with a season 3, and Wit Studio and Warner Bros have teamed up to make a Suicide Squad Isekai, and much, much more. Behold, it's me, Israel King, the CEO of SEO, the resident PGS Transformers expert, as proclaimed by Robert Meyer Burnett, or as most people know me, Kingtanic. Hello and welcome to all of my fellow weebs, otakus, imagination connoisseurs, and all of the members of the Post-Geek Singularity to another episode of the Otaku Experience, the anime non-news show where we discuss the current goings-on in the anime and manga industry with our very uneducated opinions. Special thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett, all the great folks at the network, and of course you, because without you guys, the show would not be possible. You guys like those new little graphics though? I think they're pretty cool. I think they're pretty clean, pretty smooth, you know? Okay, fine. Never mind. Dang, guys. Sorry. You're yelling at me to just get into the news? Okay, fine. Sure. Gosh. You know, okay, real quick. So Anime Expo happened this past week. And they haven't released usually you get like a full document of here's all the major things that happen. Like the news things will report that. They seem to have reported all the stories isolated. And so instead of just doing like an entire episode discussing Anime Expo, since they just did all the stories isolated like that, we're just going to go through some of the biggest stories that happened there, as well as some other stories that happened throughout the rest of the week. So going right into it, we have a Fate Strange Fake anime coming, and this, I believe, is in the Fate Stay Night franchise. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is probably where I get a bunch of hate or whatever. I never really got into Fate Stay Night. And now, granted, I haven't actually attempted to watch the show myself, but my brother was watching the show with his friends one time, and I happened to, pop in for a second and be like, oh, what are y'all watching? They're like, yeah, we're watching Fate. And so I watched a whole episode with them. Didn't really seem like it was for me. I felt no intrigueness to go and check out the rest of the show. Maybe that's just because, it was in the middle of the show and I just wasn't connected to any of the characters or whatever. But the story didn't seem to be like super gripping. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I gotta go start this myself. This is so cool. So maybe I need to do that at some point. I probably will. I know I will, but currently I haven't seen Fate Stay Night, mainly because of that experience. I just don't want to get burned again, you know what I mean? But either way, we're getting a Fate Strange Fake anime, and this was announced at Anime Expo, at the world premiere of the Fate Strange Fake anime special that came out earlier this week at Anime Expo. And they announced on Saturday a full anime adaptation of the light novel, as you can see right there. And so they did also give a synopsis of the story for those of us who don't know what's going on. Fate Strange Fake centers around an imperfect copy of a Grail War based on the Third Holy Grail War in Fuyuki. Oh, by the way, so the Fate Strange series, perfect timing because of the era we're in with pop culture. I believe this is like more of a multiverse thing. Like there's so many alternate versions of these characters, like so many different franchises. They're all canon and they'll all have different versions of the same character, but they all exist simultaneously canonically to each other. It's really, maybe I should watch it just for that, because that just sounds like a mess. Oh, I can't wait to see that. Following the conclusion of the Third Grail War, a US-based organization with Maggie, distinct from the London-based Mage Association, used data from Fuyuki's Grail War to plan their own ritual. 70 years later, they used the city of Snowfield as the sacred land for their own Grail War. However, they were unable to successfully replicate every aspect of the ritual, resulting in it acting only as an imitation that has lost the saber class and allowed for the summoning of strange servants due to the blurring of a definition of a hero. So, honestly, I could pick up some things in there, like when they bring up the saber class. Obviously, we know the character Saber from Fate and things like that. But there's a lot of stuff in there that I feel like you don't really have a lot of meaning there for those of us who don't know what it is. So they're, in my opinion at least, they're clearly not trying to grip new fans. They're like, hey, for y'all Fate fans out there, this is for y'all. Which I don't know if that's, I mean, granted, I don't know what this franchise is doing. I don't know if they're going to be like piggybacking off of what already exists or whatever. And if this is like going to be its own thing, or completely you have to watch the other thing to understand this, if it's going to be completely reliant on that. So maybe that's why they're giving it only this type of synopsis, or maybe it's just a poorly written synopsis. Who's to say? All I'll say is it sounds like for Fate fans, they're gonna have a good time. I've already seen a ton of reactions, people being like, I saw some people crying about this. They're like, it's getting adapted, and I was like, go you, man. Like, yay, I'm happy it's getting adapted for you. But for people like me, and for people that haven't seen Fate or who didn't get into it, I have a feeling this might not be for us. I feel like they're not making any attempt to make it for us, which, hey, totally their prerogative. And you know what? Kind of based. I wish that more franchises would do that instead of trying to meet in the middle. I mean, I get it, right? When you have a franchise that, especially when it's like super expensive, you have to also get to the main public of people. You have to get to the main culture there in order to make it worthwhile of how much money you're spending on it. But I don't know how much they're spending on this right here. I know that the original Fate is a very big anime in terms of budget and in terms of popularity. It's very, very popular. I don't know if they're going to go for a more abstract, obscure thing, or maybe this is just a poorly stated synopsis or whatever, but I feel like they might need that fan base. So there's always going to be a core Fate fan base. What I mean is they're going to need that mass public. And I don't know if this synopsis is really bringing anyone in. Maybe they'll drop a few great trailers. Maybe then, word of mouth will spread. But I have a feeling as well, like just based on the synopsis, that this might be reliant on all that pre-existing stuff before. The way it's talking, I already know about like the multiverse stuff that's going on, and I've heard of the Grail War, and I know what Saber is and things like that, but I haven't seen the show, or at least most of the show. And so I can kind of put together that, oh, okay, they're really basing this off of everything that's come before. And I'm still having trouble reading that and being like, oh, yeah, I'll watch that. But I feel like for people, especially those who have not ever read Fate, and they're like, oh my gosh, this Fate Strange thing is getting so much love and adoration getting announced. Let me check what this is about. And then they read it. They're like, Fate Strange makes it around an imperfect copy of the Grail War. What is the Grail War? An imperfect copy of a Grail War? You mean like there's already a Grail War that this is an imperfect copy of, based on the third Holy Grail War? So there's 3 Grail Wars, not just one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're not trying to do that. I'm not trying to like, if you're a big fan of Fate and you're super excited for this, I'm not trying to be like, wah. I'm not trying to poo-poo on your parade. I'm just saying, like, if you were a Fate fan, I can get being like, yeah, as a fan base, I want this all to myself. But at the same time, in order for the longevity and the success of the franchise, you're going to need at least a few of those main public people who might not be into all the Fate stuff that you are and know every single little aspect and detail about it. And to them, this could be very, very confusing. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Like I said, they could drop a few great trailers. I've already seen, like, this poster is great. Some of the key visual stuff, the animation has been cool. So it looks great from a visual standpoint. To me, even as someone who knows like very little about Fate, but can pick up some of the things in that synopsis, it still didn't even make me want to go and check it out, the original stuff that this is going to be piggybacking off of. At least that's what it seems like. But yeah, if you're a super big Fate fanatic, I don't know what they call you guys, but go ahead and hop in the comments and let me know, like, what is your thought process throughout all this? Are you reading this synopsis and be like, yo, that's so bare bones, that's so simple, they left out so much? If that's the case, no, but I don't know. How do you think? If you've read those light novels, are you like, yeah, this is going to be more of an obscure thing that's probably going to have a smaller budget than the mainline franchise, and it's definitely going to be for those people who know every single detail about the franchise? Or is this going to have to need that big public support to make sense of a giant budget? And so far, if that's the case, I personally think they're not starting off all that great. But who's to say? I mean, the reviews of the special that aired were great. So maybe they're relying really hard on word of mouth and just the name of Fate, rather than like trying to sell people on what the actual story is. Who's to say? All I know is that this, other than my current intriguement to go and check out the franchise on its own, just because I'm just curious to see if the show actually wasn't for me, or if it was because I stepped in really late into the season and watched an episode and then left. But I don't know. Other than that, this hasn't really done anything to sway me on that. I don't really feel super excited to check this out. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? All right, another major anime adaptation announcement we got from Anime Expo was on Sunday, and Katakawa came up and announced that Rebuild World, the light novel series, will be getting an anime adaptation. So this is what those light novel covers look like, and they gave a little bit of a synopsis here as well. As far as I know, there wasn't any trailer, or maybe not even a key visual or anything like that, but they did give us a little bit of a synopsis here. The pinnacle of human civilization has come and gone, leaving only ruins in its wake. Society and science now struggle to rebuild, rediscovering scraps of knowledge from powerful ancient artifacts that defy comprehension. These relics of the old world can make the fortunes of those who find them, if ancient security systems and rogue bioweapons don't kill the relic hunters first. Akira, a young street orphan, sets out to become one such hunter to escape his brutal life in the slums. Untrained, malnourished, and poorly armed, Akira would be lucky to make it back from the ruins alive, until an encounter with Alpha, a mysterious ghostly woman, changes his fate forever. Alpha needs a hunter, and she's willing to train Akira to get one. Will her support be enough to help a penniless kid from the slums climb to the top of a crushing and merciless world? So, it doesn't sound awful, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way it's worded. Okay. It doesn't sound bad, okay? But, it sounds like, some stuff we've heard before in the past. The art style looks pretty cool. I'll be excited to see how the animation looks, and people who get involved and things like that. Like if we see certain directors get involved. I already know that it seems like it's well reviewed. It seems like it's good source material. So that's a good thing. But this synopsis itself didn't really capture me. So I'm going off of the word of mouth that, people are excited to see it. I'll have to wait and see who's involved in the project and what the animation ends up looking like. It's Katakawa, so I assume the animation is going to be pretty decent. But yeah, I would like to see who's going to be voice acting, who's going to be composing the music, who's going to be in charge of sound design, who's going to be directing. Those types of people will be almost crucial to how excited I get for this. But other than that, I'm not excited. I'm just kind of, I honestly had never heard of this until this announcement came out, and so I'm still kind of like it's not one of those things like I've heard of Fate before, and so I've known what Fate is for years, and so the fact that it's getting another anime, I'm like, oh, okay, I have some pre-existing knowledge and some things I can talk about. I've honestly just never heard of Rebuild World. It'd be different if I had not read it but still had heard of it. I haven't read it, and I haven't heard of it. So I'm kind of just going based off of this synopsis and Katakawa announcing it, that hopefully this could be, something pretty cool. Who's to say? I mean, I think this art style looks really, really cool in this light novel cover. And Katakawa's involved, so maybe. Here's hoping. Are you DJ Khaled? Because I thought I heard someone say another one. I'm sorry, that was awful. Anyways, another anime adaptation coming out. I don't know if this was announced at Anime Expo, but it was announced this past week, and that is the romance manga A Sign of Affection, which I think looks pretty cute. So they gave us a little bit of a synopsis here as well. Also, this is coming out in winter next year, in January. Yuki is a typical college student whose world revolves around her friends, social media, and the latest sales. But when a chance encounter on a train leads to her meeting a friend of a friend and fellow student, Itsomi-san, her world starts to widen. But even though Itsomi-san can speak 3 languages, sign language isn't one of them, can the two learn to communicate the budding feelings between them? That's really interesting. Okay, wait. Okay, why did they start? I'm trying to. For a second, I thought they were saying that Yuki, the girl, that they were saying she's deaf, but they didn't specifically say that. So I'm wondering why they mentioned sign language. I'm assuming she is deaf, but they just didn't make that clear. But so I'm just going to go with that for now. If I'm wrong, you correct me in the comments there. But so I'm assuming that Yuki is deaf. The guy can speak a bunch of different languages. Itsomi, he can speak different languages, but sign language isn't one of them. So they got to learn to communicate and deal with their attractiveness cuteness to each other and their love and the romance to each other without being able to communicate. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. And then they're going to have to learn, like, he's going to have to learn sign language and she's going to have to learn to hear. That was a really bad joke. Was that mean? Am I allowed to make that type of joke in 2023? I'm sorry, guys. Comedy. If you've never met me, hang on. I have a really dark sense of humor. And so stuff like that is very funny. To me, at least. Saying like, yeah, he's going to have to learn a new language and she's going to have to learn to hear. It's a joke, guys. I'm not trying to be ableist. I know it's 2023. Let's just have a laugh together about, like, you can joke about my teeth all you want. I don't care. You can talk about any things that are wrong with me, make fun about, man. I make fun about other people all the time. People are going to clip this. I'm going to get canceled. Get ready. It's coming. But, yeah, I mean, listen, it sounds cute. As you guys know, I'm a super big romance guy. And so I'm sure this will be fine. I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure I'll check it out. I didn't see a studio that's going to be making this. Maybe that's on me. But I didn't see anything with it. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, we don't even know what studio is making it. We just know that it's been picked up for winter next year. That's interesting. I wonder why there's no studio. How do we know an anime is coming if we don't have a studio to make the anime? Like, are they just saving the studio? That's like, yeah, bro, a new princess musical is coming out next year. Who's the studio? We're not telling you. 6 months later, it's Disney. Like, we know. Like, why is this is this a spoiler? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know. Why are we talking about anime? Anyways, moving on to the next topic, which actually is not, believe it or not, an anime announcement. I mean, it kind of is, but. All right, the next one is not officially an anime announcement, but it is kind of. It's a little bit. I mean, this is when most people found out about it. But okay, so there's this anime called Spice and Wolf. That's not the official title, but that's what everybody calls it. So that's what we call it here. So this story actually came out right after last week's episode of the Otaku Experience aired, so I wasn't able to cover it. So the director, Takeo Takahashi, director of season 1 and 2 of the original, not the original anime. The anime wasn't original, but he was the director of the first anime adaptation. And he's now returning as the director or the chief director of this new adaptation. So for those of you guys who don't know what Spice and Wolf is, let me give you a little bit of a synopsis here. The life of a traveling merchant is a lonely one, a fact with which Kraft Lawrence is acquainted well. Wandering from town to town with just his horse, cart, and whatever wares have come his way, the peddler has pretty well settled that into his routine, that is. Until the night Lawrence finds a wolf goddess asleep in his cart, C-A-R-T, cart, taking the form of a fetching girl with a wolf ears and tail. Hollow has wearied of tending to harvests in the countryside and strikes up a bargain with the merchant to lend him the cunning of Hollow the Wise Wolf to increase his profits in exchange for taking her along on his travels. What kind of businessman could turn down such an offer? Lawrence soon learns, though, that having an ancient goddess as a traveling companion can be a bit of a mixed blessing. Will this wolf girl turn out to be too wild to tame? So it seems to be a little bit of a slice of life fantasy thing. The reaction to this, especially this trailer that we're about to talk about, but especially the announcement, or the reaction to this announcement was really cool. Chibi Reviews, if you guys haven't checked him out, he also, he does a ton of different stuff for the anime. He does anime news, and he talks about current anime episodes and things like that. And he uploads multiple times daily. So you guys can go check him out over there. I highly recommend. But he was crying because I believe he said Spice and Wolf was his first light novel series. And so it had a really big special place in his heart. And he was talking about it and he was like crying about it. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So I'm already like, man, if this could have that type of reaction for people, like I might have to check this out. Like what the heck? But they also did release a little bit of a trailer here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that as well. So they released a trailer, and I thought the trailer I thought it was pretty cool. Now they didn't have captions or anything, so I wasn't able to understand the dialogue. My Japanese isn't that good just yet, guys. It's a really slow process. Slow and steady wins the race. But I really liked the music that they played in the trailer. I liked the animation. But the music in particular, the music really set the vibe and the tone of everything. And it felt like really magical, but at the same time, almost like it was like extraordinary, but at the same time, very relatable. Like you could understand and you could feel it. And it felt really down to earth, which I thought was really cool because of how, it's a fantasy. It's like they were saying, it's a goddess. It's a girl with wolf ears and a tail. It's like obviously this fantasy supernatural thing, but at the same time, it felt familiar. Does that make sense? Like you felt already endeared to these characters, even without understanding the dialogue. You were like, this anime is just going to give me a big smile on my face, and I was really excited to see that. And like I said, I've never read the light novels. I've never seen the original adaptation, so this will probably end up being my first experience with this, unless I go back to check out the original anime, which I'm actually pretty intrigued by. But this instantly shot up to being one of my most anticipated anime of next year. I think it looks really, really cute. I won't say phenomenal, but it looks really cool. It looks really interesting. And the fact that so many people are like freaking out about this, Chibi even crying over it, I'm like, maybe my suspicions aren't too far off. Maybe I'm going to be like, a year from now, be like, guys, Spice and Wolf, I was crying. It was a great episode, but yeah, I don't know. It just put a smile on my face. I'm just really excited to see what's going on here. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, like, there's no super big plot or anything like that. It's a slice of life, but in a fantasy world. And I didn't really know the captions, but all I have is this feeling of I can't wait to watch this. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It just put a smile on my face. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really delightful and really cute. And yeah, I'm excited to check this out. And I might even go back and check out the original anime. Who's to say? All right, next is this. I feel like this anime is going to be really special. And that's Frieren. Now Frieren. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to say Frieren for now. So Frieren just released a new trailer, and they also announced that they would have a 2-hour premiere starting on September 29th. Thank God. Like, bro, how many times would we be talking about like, oh my gosh, these anime episodes are way too short. 2 hours? Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm so excited. But also, they released a new trailer for Frieren. And Frieren, if you don't remember, it's the anime about the girl who realizes that she's immortal. She's an elf. She realizes she's immortal. She realizes that all her friends are going to end up dying, so she goes on this journey to kind of figure out life. It sounds really, really cool. They released the second trailer. I believe it was the second. It might have been the third. And on top of the things we already know about the animation and things like that, but the music they played, and even though they didn't have captions, the emotion that I could already feel from the voice cast oozing off of the screen, all I could sit and think to myself and wonder is, could this possibly end up being anime of the year? Or at least my anime of the year? Or at least up there? Like, I don't just throw these around lightly. Like, I genuinely was like, this could end up being like in my top 3 favorite anime this year. I mean, I could be wrong, but I believe that Arknights will probably be up there as well in those top 3. I don't know if it can be number 1 again, but it'll probably be up in those top 3. I forget what's coming out in fall, other than Arknights. Summer's just getting started, so we'll have to see what's coming up. But Frieren. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this trailer and I'm like, is this about to be anime of the year? Like, I'm looking at the animation. I'm looking at not even just the animation. I'm looking at the way these shots are composed. There's this part in the trailer where it shows a montage of Frieren. And she's, traversing the world, and it's like a montage, and she's in different landscapes and different environments. And the way that these shots focused on different things. If you've seen the movie The Fabelmans that came out in 2022, directed by Steven Spielberg, there's one part at the end of the movie where the boy goes to meet a Hollywood director. And he's like, hey, any advice, yada, yada. And the director goes, basically, if you have a shot of a horizon, if it's at the top, it's interesting. If the horizon's at the top, it's interesting. If the horizon's at the bottom, it's interesting. If the horizon's in the middle, it's boring. And the way that montage, how the horizon was never in the center of the shot, it was always, even if Frieren herself wasn't like in the forefront or in the center or very close to the screen, whatever, she was still the focus. And there's a part in particular where she's like in a boat and she's looking up at something above her. And the thing above her is the focus of the shot, but they're both in focus. And so she's down there way smaller, but you're looking at both. And the way the lighting and the composition and the spacing was, I was like, there is so much care that's been put into this. Like, is this gonna be anime of the year? Like, I don't just want to be that guy and just start saying it. Like, I usually can predict what's gonna be like maybe in my top 5. Like, I'll pick usually what I think is going to be anime of the year going into it will end up being in my top 5 anime of the year. Like, I didn't anticipate Arknights to be my anime of the year last year. I thought my anime of the year last year was going to be Summertime Render, which ended up being my second favorite anime of the year. But this, I don't want to say it's going to be my anime of the year. But this might be the most confident of that I felt of an anime before watching it that it could be this year, other than Arknights. Arknights they have an advantage because they came out last year. It was my anime last year. But dude, go watch this trailer if you haven't already. I'm just gushing about it. It's probably super boring because of how many spurts of silence, but I'm just remembering this trailer. And I'm like, this trailer is effing phenomenal, bro. Like, yes, I couldn't understand the dialogue being said. So maybe the dialogue is utter garbage. Maybe it has the worst writing ever. But the feeling I was getting, I don't believe that's going to be the case. The feeling I was getting was that this is going to be an anime that has so much love and care put into it about a story that already connected with me just from when I read the synopsis. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Frieren will be in my top 3 anime of the year. There we go. Calling it right now. Oh, man. Oh, I'm so excited. September 29th cannot get here soon enough. I know that freaking July just started. The summer season just started. And here I am already like, can fall start, please? Can we skip this garbage? Jujutsu Kaisen, Mushoku Tensei, move over Frieren. It looks fantastic. Please go check out this trailer if you haven't. Am I going to end up reading the light novels or the manga, whatever this is based off of, or should I wait? Oh, I don't know what to do. All right, so something we've been talking about for the past few months, and we probably will keep talking about for the next few months, is the One Piece live action. Now, here's a big thing. So obviously the One Piece anime has been airing, and it is still airing. It's been going for 20 years now. And it has no signs of stopping. I mean, we're obviously at the end of the show, but, probably another 2 to 3 years maybe before the show actually ends. So that's a lot. And so the voice actors obviously are legends who are playing these characters. And, it would kind of feel wrong to go into the live action without them being, whether it's cameos or in some way involved in the thing, whether they speak to the live action actors and they're like, hey, here's some advice on this character that I've learned in the 20 years of playing them. Here's the depth. Here's the thing that you should be like thinking about, whatever. It would feel wrong if they weren't involved at all. Well, they are going to be involved, and they are actually going to be the cast of the live action dub. So that means when you watch the Japanese dub of the live action One Piece, you will be hearing the same Luffy that you hear in the anime, the same voice actor, or the same voice actress, I believe. I believe Luffy's played by a girl. I could be wrong. But, you know, all those actors of the main cast are going to be the same, which is really, really cool. You know, I mean, I don't know why I would have thought it wouldn't have been, but I don't know. I guess I would have just thought that maybe they would have, because they have live action actors and there's going to be a different director involved and things like that, that there might be a different vibe. Like, it'll still be One Piece at its core, but there might be a different vibe. And so then they'll get actors to then match the live action actors' portrayal more. But this is really cool. I'm so happy that they're freaking back. This comes to us from Anime Trending. At Netflix's Anime Expo 2023 industry panel, the cast members for the live-action One Piece TV adaptation confirmed that the original Japanese voice cast for Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji are reprising their roles for the series' Japanese dub, which is great. You know, I don't know if Oda had a thing in this, or if this was always going to be the case. Or maybe they all just auditioned for the roles to do the dub and they won. But however this turned out, this is really, really cool. And I'm glad that they're still involved, because it would feel wrong if they weren't. You know, they've done so much for these characters over the past 20 years. They are these characters that it would feel wrong to just be like, yeah, anyways, moving on, and just leave them behind for the live action. You know, it's like the Lou Ferrigno Hulk thing, how he shows up in The Incredible Hulk, even for just like a quick thing, or even like the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk, because he was once Hulk. And so, you know, it's really cool, because it's like, why would we, you know, this character on the screen wouldn't, you know, really exist in the way that it does now without us piggybacking off of that. And so, yeah, 100%. I have no doubt that the live action actors definitely took notes and watched, and maybe even, like I was saying, spoke to the Japanese actors and been like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about this? Is this in character? What have you learned over the time of playing this character? Things like that. And this made me even more excited. I probably wouldn't have even watched the Japanese dub, but now I'm interested to at least check it out. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll watch one episode in Japanese. But who's to say? I just think that's really cool. Really warmed my heart. I'm glad that they're back for the Japanese dub. It's like they never left. All right, so one of the most popular and well-reviewed shows of the summer 2020, or the spring 2023 anime season was Hell's Paradise. It's actually really, really good. The final episode, oh my gosh, the twist! I don't even know what's real anymore. Is this cup of tea real? Who's to say? If you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, watch Hell's Paradise right now. Hell's Paradise has been confirmed, obviously, because of how popular it is and how well received it's been. It's been greenlit for a season 2. Or at least confirmed for a season 2. And so a report for Comic Book has revealed that the action-centric anime, which premiered in the spring season, is returning for season 2. This announcement came with a trailer showcasing clips from the previous episodes and confirming the renewal. No official release date is available at the time of writing, but reports will be provided as they are received. So, considering that it was just greenlit, I'm gonna say it's over or under 2 years, basically. I think it'd be under 2 years, but it'll be closer to 2 years. You know what that means? Or do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking at the latest, we're looking at a spring 2025, but this could easily be like a fall 2024, or maybe even a summer 2024. I don't think it's coming out in fall this year, or spring, or winter next year. I wouldn't even put it at spring next year. I think you're looking at a summer of 2024 to a spring of 2025 window, those 4 seasons. And any time in there is great. I think that's a great time for season 2. Let the fan base build up. Let everybody get a chance to see season 1 and talk about it. Let the sales for the source material build up. And and I mean, MAPPA's already stacked with what they got going. They're already slammed. And especially everything going on with the animators right now. I don't want them to throw any more work on top of that. So I'm fine waiting, like if it's an extra year or whatever. As long as we get a great quality product, that's fine by me. And so, yeah, I'm very excited to see this. Like I said, they have not given us a release window, so there's not really much to talk about other than go watch Hell's Paradise. It's great. Also, if you want to see me review it, you can check out my main channel, Kingtanic, the spring 2023 seasonal review will be coming out in like 2 weeks. So check that out. It takes a while because, you know, there's like 17 shows. I got to write the scripts. I got to record it. I got to get all the graphics. It's a process. Okay. Chill. But anyways, Hell's Paradise. Check it out. All right. So one of the most popular anime of the past decade or so, for good reason, is Black Butler. This was a show that I actually never watched fully, but me and my siblings watched it when we were younger. I don't know if this would be a show for kids, but that's what we did. And so I've seen some episodes here and there, knowing what the basic premise of the show is, but not seeing, you know, the overall story. So the episodes were kind of like very isolated to me. But they have officially announced that Black Clover is returning with the season 3, and it's actually going to be under a new studio. So the first 2 seasons were done under A1 Pictures. This is now being taken over by Cloverworks. And I believe that this show started like, I think it was 2008 or something like that. Am I wrong? Or it's 2014 season 2, I think. But all I know is it's been going on forever. 2008 to 2009 was the first season. So yeah, this show has been going on for a while. It's been, I think, what is this, the 15th anniversary this year? Wow, 15 years of Black Butler. It's coming back for year 16 next year. So I believe they said this is a winter anime next year. We're going to get it. And they also did give a little bit of a synopsis because it's been so long. I assume they're trying to bring in new fans or people who forgot what the show was about. So here's the synopsis on that. Seal Phantom Hive is the most powerful boy in all of England, but he bears the scars of unspeakable suffering. Forced to watch as his beloved parents were brutally murdered, Seal was subsequently abducted and violently tortured. Desperate to end his suffering, the boy traded his own soul for a chance at vengeance, casting his lot with the one person whom he could depend, Sebastian, a demon butler summoned from the very pits of hell. Together they'll prowl the darkest alleys of London on a mission to snuff out those who would do evil. It's really, really cool. It's a really, really fun thing. They also gave us a little bit of a teaser trailer, not a full trailer, but a teaser for the next season. And it was nice to see them. They look like themselves, but they also look like, you know, how they would look under a new studio where, you know, it's like the same character, but, you know, slightly different, you know? So there's Sebastian right there. I thought that was pretty cool. And then there is Seal Phantom Hive. What a crazy name. And so, yeah, so Seal basically, like it was saying there, you know, he had to see his parents get murdered, and then he was abducted and tortured. And then after that, he was like, basically, he went up to the devil and he was like, yo, I'll sell my soul to you, but you gotta help me out with this. And the devil was like, all right, cool. And so now he's got a butler. They say demon butler. When I was a kid, I always thought that the butler was the devil himself. But who's to say? Either way, the episodes I did see were really fun. They were really cute. Cute's the wrong word, but they were just a lot of fun. It's not like super. You'd think it would be like a super drab and dramatic show. I was able to have fun with it. And so maybe that was just me being a kid having no sense of anything. But who's to say? I had a good time with it. But yeah, so Black Butler is coming back for a season 3. Are you going to watch it? Are you going to check out the first Black Butler because you've never seen it, or whatever? Or are you going to skip this out because demons? All right, so something we talked about, I believe like a month or so ago, was that Boruto was ending its anime run for now, and it would come back in a part 2. And Naruto is actually coming back later this year. Well, we actually have the release date for Naruto's return for these 4 brand new anime original episodes. So this comes to us from Anime News Network. The official Twitter account for the Naruto anime franchise announced on Sunday that the 4 brand new episodes for the original Naruto anime will begin airing in Japan on September 3rd. The first of the 4 new episodes will also get a live-action screening at Makuhari Messe Event Hall in Chiba on September 3rd. Tickets go on sale July 18th. So if you're in Chiba or if you're near there, you can do that. Me personally, I guess I'll just wait. Honestly, I'm still not caught up on Naruto. I've been trying my darndest to catch up, but there's a lot of stuff, so it's a process. So I don't know if I'll be able to talk about this when it comes out. I'll be able to give you guys updates on the release and things like that, and we'll probably talk about the reception to it and whatever other Naruto news there is. But I myself probably won't see this at least immediately when it comes out. I'm going to try my best to see it, before the end of the year comes out. So that way I can talk about it when I talk about the best of or the worst of the year and things like that. But yeah, we finally have the official release date or the first day, the premiere day for the Naruto original episodes coming back to commemorate the anniversary. Are you guys going to be checking this out? Are you like me trying to catch up, but there's a lot of stuff to get through? Or is it because there's so many episodes that you've just been like, you know what, maybe Naruto's not for me. It's a sign from God. Who's to say? I'm looking forward to this. It's going to take me a while to get to it, so please don't spoil anything for me once it comes out. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty interesting. I'm excited to see how it looks. All right, so over the past week and a half or so, we had heard rumors. There was an anime leak that Warner Bros. And Studio Wit would be teaming up on something together, and they would be teaming up on an anime project. And we didn't really know what it was, but everybody was like trying to predict what it was. I think most people agreed that it's probably going to be a DC thing, a DC Comics thing, but we didn't know exactly what that would look like until earlier this week. We have been officially confirmed that we are getting a Suicide Squad Isekai, and that so far seems to be the tentative title, Suicide Squad Isekai, and this is coming from Studio Wit and Warner Brothers. So Eri Osada, who has worked on Jujutsu Kaisen, JoJo's Part 4, Blast of Tempest, and more. Those are just some of his most popular and most notable things. He is coming to direct the series. And then they released also a brief teaser of this, which I thought was pretty cool. As you could see by that Harley image right there. Harley translated really well into anime. That's all I'll say. And so we got some more stuff for the trailer here. So there's Harley officially in the thing. This is still a ways out, so I assume that there's time for them to still rework some stuff if they need to and things like that. But yeah, there she is. The Joker design has actually caused some controversy, which is really interesting. And I was like, why? Like, looks like the Joker to me. But he has like instead of just the smile, there's like teeth in the smile all the way throughout, and then he opens his mouth and the teeth around move. And I guess some people didn't really like that choice. I think it's like it looks like the most anime thing ever. Honestly, they showed a close-up of him, and to me, he looked like Levi from Attack on Titan, but with Joker makeup on and green hair. And I was like, no, Levi, what'd they do to you? Oh, they finally broke him. Nothing matters anymore. And then they're going to get isekai'd into this fantasy world. Is this canon? Is this part of James Gunn's new DCU? Who's to say? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's mixing so many there's so many conflicting things, because DC is my favorite comic brand. I love those characters. I love that world so much. Joker is one of my favorite characters of all time. And then they're like, let's take Israel's least favorite anime genre, and let's take this, and we'll just go whoosh. So hopefully it's good. That's all I'll say. Wit's doing it, so I have no doubt the animation is going to look great, as we saw from all that art before. I think the animation looks good so far. I personally don't have a problem with the Joker design. I know some people did. I didn't. I thought it was fine. I think that this key visual is fan-freaking-tastic. This perfectly captures the heart of Harley. I kind of wish, because they toyed with the Joker design and they did some stuff with it. Obviously, we've seen some things before, but they've messed with it a little bit, and they've done some other things, where it looks like the Joker, but it's different from Joker designs we've seen in the past. I wish they would have done some more of that with Harley, because this seems so much to me like the very popular current iteration of Harley, which is Margot Robbie's Harley, the Arkham games, Harley, the Harley Quinn animated series on Max. It seems to be very much akin to those, and I'm kind of like, I would like Harley's allowed to look different. She, for a long time, she didn't look like how she does now. I mean, we can toy with these characters as long as the heart of the character and is still there, and as long as we can, like, when we see them, be like, oh, that's Harley Quinn. I mean, obviously it's not a major thing. Her looking like this isn't going to make the show any better or worse. But it's just a thing. I think she looks great. But I would, if they're toying with the Joker design, hey, toy with the Harley design too. Let's see what's going on here. I would love to see like what full on like anime inspiration that these or Japanese inspiration that these anime animators and directors can put into there. Just be like, hey, what if we did this that maybe us Westerners would have never even thought of, because it's a totally different culture there. I don't know. It would be really interesting to see that. Or maybe Warner Brothers was like, no, she has to look like this because this is popular and this sells. So who's to say? I don't really know. I will check this out. I just wish it wasn't an isekai, dude. If it was just a straight up just Suicide Squad anime, oh my gosh, you would see me bouncing around the room freaking out. But they had to say isekai, so I don't know. I'm conflicted on this. All right, guys, with all those stories out of the way, it's time for us to go into all of our favorite part of the show, the Goofy Woofy anime community. All right, so the first and only thing on the Goofy Woofy anime community this week is the One Piece creator, Eiichiro Oda. This man right there, actually, real quick, before we go any further, no one can seem to find a proper picture of this guy. Like, every time I look up a picture of Eiichiro Oda, there's always, like, I see pictures. It's either this guy or the guy with the facial hair and, you know, whatever. But everybody's like, that's not Oda. This is. And then they show a different picture. And I'm like, I Russian roulette. Maybe this is Oda, maybe it's not. But Eiichiro Oda, the One Piece creator, says he spends money on ridiculous things. And this comes for us from CBR. With a net worth exceeding $200 million, Eiichiro Oda is the highest earning manga artist in the medium's history. A One Piece fan who goes by Sandman, or @SandmanAP on Twitter, recently uncovered an interview where Oda details some unusual ways he enjoyed his wealth over the years. This is Eiichiro Oda saying this. I made a lot of money even though I only enjoyed my ridiculous drawings. So I decided to spend my money on ridiculous things, Oda said. Sandman's posts included photos of a few noteworthy examples, such as a shark toilet and a dragon bathtub. And they're not kidding on this. There's some really funny stuff in here. So they have, there's, where is it? So here's the shark toilet right there. As you can see, there's a shark above the toilet. Dude, this is, you know, I feel like so many people like try to have like the coolest modern house. They get all the cars and blah, 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 when they're rich. Eiichiro Oda was like, but what if I got a shark toilet? Like, you know what? That's kind of based. You know, save your money, get the funny, goofy stuff. Yeah. I mean, hey, the finer things in life, the simple stuff. They also had, there was another thing I had here, another image. What is this? Oh, he has a giant giraffe in his house. Look at this. He has a giant giraffe. Oda! Oh, I love you, man. Oh, this is so funny. This is definitely the creator of One Piece, dude. Like, if you read One Piece and then you, like, find out these things, you're like, yeah, that's totally that guy. But, dude, oh my gosh, Oda, we can't find a proper picture of you, but at least we can see what's in your house and what you're buying. Really, really funny stuff. That's all for the Goofy Woofy anime community this week. Like I said, only one story. Nothing really funny happened. So this is, because it's the only thing here, this is the certified Goofy moment this week. All right, guys, so we would have gone into the audience rankings this week, but I could not find the anime trending audience rankings. I could have swore they said they were going to air those on July 3rd. I couldn't find them. Anime Corner finished last week, so we couldn't do that either. But maybe Anime Trending, maybe I just misread it and they're actually starting their ranking period this week, in which case we would get that final ranking next week. Either way, that means there's no audience ranking for this week, but we will have audience ranking next week. I believe Anime Corner will have their first thing for summer, and Anime Trending might have their last thing for spring. So we'll find out. But that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Otaku Experience. If you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter @Kingtanic, or you can follow me on Twitter @Kingtanic Israel. Yeah. That's about it. If you want to watch more shows on the Bur Network, you can check out some great things like Lana Yuen Reviews, who is not only reviewing horror anymore. She uploaded a Flash review, and I was like, oh, I thought this was a horror series. Maybe the Flash is scary. It's all the CGI. But no. I mean, Lana's doing great. They're great over there. Really nice people, by the way. They followed me back on Twitter. I was like, guys, Lana and Alan, you have my heart. You can watch other things on the Bur Network, like Architects of Imagination, if you're into video games and what game devs have to say. You can check out she's doing like 17 things throughout the week. She is so busy. I don't know how she does it. Tom Jr. Jackson is also super busy. You can check out his channel at Tom Jr. Jackson. Rob's always doing stuff. The man, the myth, the legend, my boss. He's always doing stuff with Robservations, Midnight Musings, Let's Get Physical Media, the member streams, which I believe there is one this week. I could be wrong. You can always check out Roberto Suarez, and K-Pasa PGS, other things like that. So many other things happening throughout the week over on the Brit Network. Always check in because odds are there's probably something happening every single day, multiple times a day. So you should check it out. Come and join the family, subscribe, become a member. And yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I will see all of you guys next week.